Old barns and windswept deserts have become the sarcophagi of once magnificent mechanical wonders. The Ferrari F40 of dictator Uday Hussein, devoid of any identifying marks, was found in the bottomless belly of an abandoned barn in Kurdistan. Similarly confined was the DeLorian, in a state of pristine preservation, with only a carefree mouse as its inhabitant. The sands of Dubai harbored the mournful secret of the abandoned Ferrari. Its silent forms, once symbols of luxury and speed, now became a stark reminder of the fleeting nature of wealth. These stories, woven from intrigue and tragedy, paint a grim picture of oblivion and disillusionment, where once proud supercars are doomed to timeless imprisonment in unfitting places. Ferrari F40 of Uday Hussein. Uday Hussein was not the kind of guy you'd want to have anything in common with. The eldest son of Iraqi President Saddam Hussein was ruthless, cruel, and unstable, accused of committing so many horrific crimes that even his father had to rein in the unruly offspring. Uday had a weakness for fast cars. He had an extensive collection of exotic automobiles, including rare specimens like the Ferrari F40 and the Lamborghini LM002, among many other interesting models. If you could afford it, why not? Legend has it that at one point, Saddam got so enraged by his son's misbehavior and excesses that he personally set fire to the garage, which housed many of the offspring's cars. The upbringing was then taken care of by the whole state, and in 2003, the United States invaded Iraq. Uday ordered his henchmen to burn the entire collection rather than hand it over to Uncle Sam. Obviously, not all cars were destroyed, and somehow the Ferrari F40 escaped the hell that Baghdad was at the time. However, no one knew its whereabouts since the war. Here's where the story gets really interesting. It all started in 2013 when a photo of the Italian supercar appeared on one of the international internet forums discussing abandoned cars. The pictures caught the eye of an Iraqi-born car enthusiast living in Stockholm. He traveled to the city of Erbil, the capital of Iraqi Kurdistan. Upon arrival, he finally saw what had seemed like a mirage until that moment: Uday Hussein's Ferrari F40. Photos were taken. At that time, the car was in a deplorable condition. Before these photos were taken, the car had been to Turkey, where attempts were made to restore it. But the people working on it found out who the previous owner of this supercar was and refused to return the car. The owner could not allow this, so he personally went to Turkey and, facing resistance, reclaimed the car with many missing parts. The saga of this story was far from over. The car enthusiast began to look for ways to buy the F40. Initially, the owner agreed to sell it for $300,000 in an unrestored condition. However, a major problem arose, the solution to which the Swede could not find: how to legally transport the Ferrari from Iraq to Sweden, considering that the owner did not want to be recognized as a seller, and there were no documents for the car. And he also wanted only cash as payment. Getting the necessary documents turned out to be impossible. The deal fell through, and the Swede only took photos, which he brought home. Meanwhile, the car in Iraq underwent proper restoration, but now the owner wanted $1,150,000 for his specimen. Then a blogger from England tried to buy the car, but the deal for its delivery to the UK was cancelled. The price of the car, logistics for transportation, as well as further restoration, were too complex and costly compared to the benefits. The supercar, having run only 2,300 miles, was moved to a safer garage. Uday's sister, Raghad, who lives in Jordan, posted on Twitter, threatening to sue anyone who seized her family's personal property. The story of the F40 of the Hussein family is not over yet. Aston Martin DB5 from the barn. And here's another legend and another story. A rare Aston Martin was found abandoned in a mouse-infested barn where it had lain untouched for over 40 years. A semi-destroyed Aston Martin DB5, built in 1961, was discovered in an old barn in England. The odometer read just over 6,000 miles. After restoration, the car with its white gold interior could fetch up to $215,000. This is due to its manual transmission, making it one of only 120 produced. It was believed that a car resembling the one shown in the James Bond movie On Her Majesty's Secret Service had been locked in the barn since at least 1969. When it was discovered, it was damaged by moths and mice. The incredible find became known when the former owner of the car passed away, and his brother approached a restoration company to see if they would be interested in purchasing it. The car was immediately bought by a car enthusiast who wished to remain anonymous. Qualified restorers set to work to restore the car to its former glory. The entire car remained in exceptional condition, with original panels and paint that were simply cleaned and polished. The car's condition was attributed to being kept in an absolutely dry environment with sufficient ventilation. The new owner said, "I look forward to the opportunity to drive it on the road for the first time in over 40 years. DeLorian in a barn in pristine condition except for a mouse living inside. Another group specializing in classic car restoration recently stumbled upon a blast from the past when they found an original 1981 DeLorian tucked away in a barn in the southern United States. What's even more astonishing is that the car, which became a cultural phenomenon thanks to the Back to the Future movie, was almost in perfect condition, albeit a bit dusty. The owner of the restoration company revealed that he first heard about the untouched car from the owner's nephew, who informed him that they wanted to sell it. Amazingly, the DeLorian retained all its original 1981 parts, and since its production, it had only clocked 977 miles. However, it wasn't quite road-ready. When they opened it up, the first thing they saw was a mouse scurrying across the central console. The entire car was covered in dust and needed a serious cleaning, but it was in good shape. This car had almost no sun damage. The condition of the leather, dashboard, instruments, and many other places where they could be was practically flawless. Bringing the car to perfection from such a state is simply an adventure that everyone wants to participate in. It seems that to become an amazing supercar, this DeLorian just needs meticulous detailing. Lamborghini Miura in the Hilton Hotel garage in Athens. And here's the next abandoned car. Before marrying Jackie Kennedy, Aristotle Onassis was a wealthy playboy from Greece who loved collecting expensive toys. In 1969, he bought a 1969 Lamborghini Miura P400S with a brown metallic hue. If any car could embody the dynamic lifestyle of the time, it was the Miura, one of Bertone's finest designs, unveiled at the Geneva Motor Show in 1966. It could stop traffic on the rich streets of New York, London, or Paris. A 3.9-liter V12 engine mounted transversely, producing about 375 horsepower in the F400S configuration, gave the car performance to match its striking low-slung appearance. This car had electric windows and an enhanced engine. It was equipped with an additional air conditioner, essential in such a hot climate. The engraved metal ventilation grills, passenger handle, gear lever, electric window switches, and ignition lock are unique. The steering wheel boss was also adorned with additional custom engraving. The well-known eyelashes around the headlights were also made of metal. Only a bold person can fully utilize this supercar. And Onassis gave the Lambo to Greek singer Stamatis Kokotas. He could well have been such a person, as he was a very talented rally driver and a lover of fast cars. In the 70s, he had an extensive collection financed by his singing career. Stamatis drove 50,000 miles in the car when the engine failed. The singer sent the engine to the Lamborghini factory for repair. Meanwhile, he parked the Miura in the garage of the Hilton Hotel in Athens. For some reason, no one paid the factory for their work, so the engine sat in Italy as collateral for all those years. The car's body sat in the Hilton parking lot for 30 years. Finally, Lamborghini arranged for the engine and body to be reunited and sold them at auction in 2012. It fetched about $480,000. Rolls-Royce Phantom Centurion for $550,000. Next on my list is the Rolls-Royce Phantom Centurion for $550,000. In the glittering lights of Las Vegas in 2007, this car found its first owner. A year later, its fate intertwined with eBay, where it fetched a whopping $300,000. But then, in the midst of the financial hurricane of 2008, this Rolls-Royce found itself in the heart of winter in snowy St. Petersburg. Not in the grand garages of magnates or in the presidential motorcade. Instead, it lay abandoned on the railway tracks, stripped of wings, headlights, wheels, and taillights. Though its appearance was dismal, the car still retained its royal spirit. In a country where such stories are not uncommon, this tale makes one ponder the mysterious past of this car and the fate of those who touched it. But now it's doing just fine, cruising through Europe still on the same plates and looking like new. Maybach 57 found abandoned in France. It's hard to imagine that if you ever could afford a Maybach 57, you'd just leave it somewhere. But one owner did just that on the French coast. In August 2012, this $650,000 Maybach 57 was found abandoned in a parking lot in the French coastal town of Cannes. Undoubtedly, there is a story explaining why a luxury sedan worth $500,000 was left in a parking lot. Apparently, the Maybach 57 had been sitting for about 4 years, collecting a lot of dust and even a few indecent messages from the public. Someone even had the audacity to take the front emblem off the sedan for themselves. The car, as a faithful friend should, awaits its owner where he left it. Ferrari Enzo. As beautiful as the Maybach 57 may be, the abandoned Ferrari Enzo undoubtedly takes the crown when it comes to cars left to fate's whims. Ferrari only produced 400 Enzos, and the 400th was a gift to the Pope. The cars reach a top speed of 217 miles per hour and can accelerate from 0 to 60 in just 3.14 seconds. Initially, the car's base price was $670,000, and each buyer was hand-picked by the Italian automaker. This exotic car with a 651 horsepower V12 engine was destined to become one of the most valuable in the history of the Italian stable. To be an Enzo owner, one needed to own at least 2 other Ferraris and be well known in the company for at least 10 years. Unfortunately, after the global economic crisis that began in 2008, a bunch of Enzos started showing up for sale, and ownership standards were significantly lowered. This explains how an anonymous UK citizen living in Dubai managed to acquire one of these rare masterpieces. Apparently, the emigrant who bought the car rarely observed traffic rules and parking signs. He somehow managed to rack up $30,000 in fines for traffic violations and parking fines. But I know what you're thinking. $30,000 is peanuts for someone who can afford a Ferrari worth $1,600,000, right? Well, it turns out money wasn't the reason why the owner left his Enzo in a hot and dusty Dubai parking lot for 20 months. He did it to avoid going to jail. In Dubai, unpaid government debt is considered a serious crime, often punishable by imprisonment. To avoid long stints in the awful prison hole we can only imagine, the rich guy parked his Ferrari in a random spot and then left the city. His current whereabouts are unknown, but the Ferrari collected dust in temperatures often exceeding 100 degrees for 20 months. Recently, the owner was declared wanted by Interpol, facing even more prison time and fines. Fortunately, according to a local news outlet, the situation with the car has improved slightly. It has been moved to a warehouse for safekeeping instead of being left to rot under the hot Middle Eastern sun. However, the person who left the car in haste no longer claims ownership. Instead, a number of parties are vying for the supercar, and that's why it's in a suspended state. Enzo was auctioned by the Dubai government, along with 22 other cars that were either abandoned or confiscated. What would you do? Pay the fines, serve the sentence, and keep your Enzo, or leave town and evade Interpol? The answer to this question is not easy to give unequivocally. Think about it and write it in the comments under the video. Looking at an abandoned luxury car leaves an indelible mark on the soul of any car enthusiast. This sight is especially agonizing for those who themselves drive a car not worthy of such status. And you too have the opportunity to change your status and join our team. If you have video editing skills, can voice over videos in Russian, English, and other languages, or write interesting scripts, we'll be happy to work with you. Write to our Telegram bot, link in the description.